thank the MPs who have spoken on the bill and would like to address your comments. Mr. Louis Ng and Mr. Thomas Chua asked if HDB's industrial property customers will face an increase in their bill for their new tenancies under JTC. I'd like to clarify that both HDB and JTC adjust their rents based on how market rents change. Because market rents have moderated in recent years and likely to moderate in the near future, the majority of HDB's existing customers are therefore unlikely to see their rents go up when they renew their tenancies in 2018. Some of them will, however, face increased rents when they renew their tenancies in 2018 because of the low contracted rents in their current term. For example, some of the HDB customers who shifted from HDB's Eunos Terrace workshops to HDB's Kaki Bukit Auto Hub were allowed to pay the same rents they paid in Eunos to help with the transition. When they renew their tenancies in 2018, they will have to pay the market rents for the Auto Hub, which are higher. To cushion the impact of rent increases, JTC offers tenants a staggered rent scheme. This means that the rents of the tenants will be kept in the first 2 years of their new tenancies, which effectively spreads out the rent increase for them. Because HDB and JTC both HDB and JTC already offer this scheme today, and JTC will continue this practice after the consolidation. In addition, for those facing genuine difficulty in payment of their rents, JTC do exercise discretion to offer and provide further rental assistance on a case-by-case basis. Besides the rental policy, the other tenancy policies of HDB and JTC are generally aligned. There are some differences in the operational processes, but HDB and JTC are working towards aligning them. This is in line with our focus to ensure a smooth transition for the HDB's customers. Ms. Tanalashmi asked a few questions about the affected HDB officers. All the officers currently serving the affected HDB customers will be transferred to JTC so that they can continue to serve the customers seamlessly after the transfer. However, we will exercise discretion on a case-by-case basis where there are extenuating circumstances. As I mentioned earlier, the smooth transfer of the HDB officers is a priority for us. So the bill safeguards the officers' remuneration, their leave rights, and other terms of service. This also means that their years of service will continue to be recognized. Both before and after the transfer was announced, HDB and JTC has conducted engagement sessions with the officers to brief them about the transfer and to address any questions that they have. JTC also designed an onboarding program to familiarize the officers with JTC's work environment and to facilitate team building. The two agencies also consulted the HDB Staff Union and the Amalgamated Union of Public Employees. I understand that both unions supported the transfer. Regarding disciplinary investigations, Section 39(4) of the bill states that any investigation into the conduct of an affected HDB officer before the transfer date has to be completed by HDB, even if the investigation ends after the transfer date. This is the practice that is following the same principle in the Employment Act. Let me now turn to divestment and redevelopment. The government has no plans to divest the HDB properties that JTC is taking over. If we wanted to divest, why would we want to take them over in JTC? We must well ask HDB to do the divestment exercise and let HDB and MND carry the can. Mr. Ng also asked about JTC's plans to redevelop the older HDB properties. JTC will continue with HDB's industrial redevelopment program to intensify land use. It will also look for opportunities to share infrastructure and amenities across adjacent estates to optimize the use of industrial land. Let me now respond to Mr. Leon Pereira's questions. The dispute settlement mechanism in Section 41 of the bill states that the Minister for Finance may decide on any disputes over one, whether an asset, a liability, an employee, or a record has been transferred from HDB to JTC, or two, whether any contract or document relates to a transferred asset, liability, employee, or record, and its decision is final and binding. Dispute settlement mechanisms are a standard provision in bills of this nature. They are intended to provide clarity on how disputes may be settled. For example, a similar mechanism was included in the Skills Future Singapore Agency Bill in 2016 for the transfer of the assets and liabilities of the Council for Private Education and parts of the Workforce Development Agency to Skills Future Singapore. The removal of Section 64 is part of the set of amendments to harmonize the enforcement powers between HDB and JTC. This removal will allow JTC to carry out prosecution for offences related to the common properties and open space of its industrial estates without having to seek the consent of the public prosecutor for each case. These are the same powers that HDB currently has, so it's just to harmonize the process. As for Mr. Leon Pereira's views on the industrial space policy, we have had this debate before. Let me just explain and reiterate the government's thinking. First of all, this refers only to the standard common user industrial space, where JTC has decided to let market forces play their role in providing it, because JTC does not see any value add in providing common user high-rise industrial space. So it divested its properties and it now has only about 8% of the market share. This is to allow market forces to work, and JTC's involvement is then through the land sales program. I think the Workers' Party has a different proposal or different policy. That's entirely your right. You are left of center, we are more center. So this is your party program, and I encourage you to continue pursuing those and explaining your policy in the next election. Let me turn towards the role that JTC can play more effectively and not participate in the general purpose, common user type properties. As we all know, JTC has in recent years been concentrating on looking after the sectoral needs of different sectors. And this is done to look after the needs of all the enterprises, from micro, small, medium, to the bigger enterprises. And in doing the redevelopment of these cluster facilities, JTC does this in consultation with the industry and with trade associations, so that it can take into account the specific needs of the different business groups, something that Mr. Thomas Chua has advocated very strongly. So these facilities will then benefit companies in a number of ways. First, by having these facilities, we help to cluster companies along the same value chain, which will facilitate business collaboration. Second, we provide shared facilities and services to help companies reduce their upfront capital investment and operating costs. And third, many of these new facilities include units of different sizes, so as to cater for enterprises of different needs, whether you're micro or small medium enterprises and allow them to grow from micro to the large SMEs and have the same space cater to their different stages of growth. And finally, these facilities come with structural designs that make it easy for the companies to expand into adjacent units when they grow their business. So I can give you a few examples. One upcoming facility that JTC is planning to build is the JTC Automotive Hub. Targeted for completion in 2020, this facility will provide ready-built space to support SMEs, including our micro SMEs, involved in the maintenance of heavy and light vehicles. It will also come with modular units to provide flexibility for tenants looking to expand their businesses. And apart from this, there are plans for shared facilities and services, including centralized spray painting and car washing facilities to help the tenants reduce their upfront capital as well as their operating costs. I understand that some of HDB's customers in the Alexandra Village Industrial Estate have already expressed interest to expand their businesses in the automotive hub. JTC has another 2 facilities that will benefit HDB's customers. The upcoming JTC Furniture Hub has already attracted encouraging interest from HDB's customers. The facility will bring together furniture companies and furniture-related service providers across the value chain to facilitate business collaboration. These companies can also look forward to integrated showrooms, a design studio, as well as an on-site training institute that will help enhance their design capabilities. Another facility is the JTC space at Tampines North, which comes with units that can cater to smaller companies and a structural design that allow companies to expand their space as they grow. I understand a number of HDB's customers have also made inquiries to take up units in these facilities. JTC will therefore continue to engage companies, including the transferred HDB customers, and explore new facilities where JTC can add value to support their needs. Mr. Speaker, sir, the consolidation of all public sector industrial properties in JTC will provide greater convenience to companies and allow the government to better support their space needs. We are committed to providing a smooth transition for the transferred customers and working closely with them to grow and improve their businesses after the transfer. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move.